minorities you mentioned earlier do not necessarily need to be offended, some actually do. Sometimes offending is a road towards more open mindedness, while keeping quiet so that no one will get offended or hurt just exaggerates it and culminates the problem and concludes in a much more harm being done. Anyway, if you're offended by a newspaper article or a picture or something a person says, you as a citizen should just learn how to get over it and deal with reality.
Deal with it? What is this? No, Madam Speaker, I will not listen to this. I will not listen to him belittling us.
I'm asking you to leave.
No. She belittles us. She mocks us. Sir? This has nothing to do with the discussion and how.
Order. I'm asking you your excuse from the debate. Please, sir. Your excuse. Thank you.
Why is our society so afraid of fighting with words? They're just words. As our second debater is not here, we just have to move on to the next one.
Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, our opponent with quite much emotions was trying to show to us how good when in country freedom of speech is limited. I can give some example how it's to live in country where speech is limited. I was born in Ukraine, which was part of Soviet Union at that time. And maybe Soviet Union is mostly known example of country where it was censorship and dictatorship. During that time, the people's voice was strongly restricted. So in our country, we had only one truth, and our Communist Party, our government was decide what is true. The basic object of the censorship was, for example, anti-Soviet propaganda, military and economical secrets, the negative information of the state. For example, they didn't write a newspaper about accident. It was impossible to have statistics of suicide in Soviet Union. Our government, for protection state secret, decide what we must listen and what we must read. It was not possible to listen foreign radio or watch foreign TV. Our children, same like me, in school was study history, what was best for Communist Party. For example, about Molotov-Ribbentrop Agreement, I was studying only in 1996. About that Finland, for example, was very long time occupied by Soviet Union. I was learning only now. I can give some example what I think will very close to everybody here. Because again, for protection of state secret, our government didn't say in time about Chernobyl nuclear reactor accident in 1986. They said it after some days later, when thousands and thousands of people in Ukraine, in Belarus, in Finland and Europe was already radiated. I really can speak a lot about awful life, and I can say that I don't want to have such life more, because it was horrible and it was not any freedom. And if we already speak about freedom of speech, I can make a question to everybody here. Who will decide what is true and what is not? Can it be our church? Can it be our government? I think history shows that church always stayed for protection of church dogma, and government can limit its speech, always going to dictatorship.
This segment will be based on opinion. You're all welcome to ask questions against or for freedom of speech. Is it limited? And we have maybe 10 minutes.
Actually, our second debater said already the answer to your question. She said that often if you start by limiting something, it can evolve. And by limiting the freedom of speech, it can evolve to something very much worse. And also I would like to say that, still come back to the societal evolution, that if people are allowed to speak freely and express themselves freely and paint what they want and write what they want, the society will be much more diverse, have much more diversity and become a richer society.
Sorry.
May I ask? Yes. May I ask something? Because I noticed that the discussion was about the speech and limiting something or not. But what about increase the respect for diversity, for different culture and different attitude in comparison with other people and other situations different from our culture? What's your opinion, please?
We think that by limiting freedom of speech to a certain extent, we will be able to live more harmoniously, that people from different races or religions, that if we limit it so that you cannot go and say to the other that your religion is bad, that we will be able to keep it low and peaceful.
I will stop the debate. It's over. Thanks for your cooperation. And now we will move to the voting segment. I'm asking everyone if you're in favor of freedom of speech should be limited or not, or in favor of limitations. Those who are in favor of freedom of speech should be limited, please raise your hand. And those who are not in favor,